Well, hello and good evening, good day, you all. I I just want to say just hello. It's been a while since I've done a live session here on YouTube, and I just got finished doing a webinar. And as I was sitting here, I thought about I remembered an article that I read maybe about 2 weeks ago. And I had been meaning to speak to this particular situation, and not allow it to get away from me or from you all. And it's in regards to single mothers, and I was trying to find the article so that I could read it, but I it's taken me too long to find it. So um, I'm going to start these sessions in regards to single motherhood, and I won't, belabor them. They won't be long. But the article that I read a few weeks ago was about a single woman. I think she was about 26 years old, a young lady, and I think somewhere over in the UK, and she she was having some struggles. She was having some struggles. She could not pay her bills on time. She could not pay her rent on time. She had a beautiful baby girl, and I think she was about maybe 2 or 3 years old. And what bothered me about this article is it told us about how she was struggling and how they had found out by the landlord, and she had been to court and things, and was letting them know that she could not afford to pay the bills that she had. And she took her and her daughter to the train station, and she contemplated that thing. She was watching, observing to see if people were watching her. She walked down to one end of the train station or the subway station, and just making sure that no one's watching. And at one point she even placed her daughter on the other side of the railing, which would have her daughter by closest to the tracks, but still on this landing, while she contemplated. And then she thought about it, and she grabbed her daughter, pulled her, and then they walked away. But later on that evening, either about 8 or 9 o'clock, around that time at night, they went back. And at this point, she actually followed through with killing them, with jumping out, her and her daughter jumping out in front of the train, and they got killed. And so I wanted to speak on being a single mother, as I have been a single mother since I became a mother, you know, at the young, tender age of 17. And just sharing, I wanted to give some hope on today for those who are single mothers, um, even single fathers, as well. But just to let you know that I have been in situations where the struggle was so real. I've been in situations where I did not know how my rent was going to get paid, how I was going to pay my car note, how I was going to, buy food and things of that nature. And it was just a struggle. And I remember, being in a position at one point to where, I checked my checking account, and it had the dollar sign, and it had 0.00, and I was filled with so much anguish that I was just like, "Oh my gosh." And it was so much for me. I couldn't take it. I couldn't understand how I could be in that situation. I didn't understand how I got in that situation. How could I be in a situation where at one point I was, making all this money, and being able to provide for my children and my household, to getting to the point where I check my account and there's nothing in it, not even a penny in the account. So I definitely understand the struggle. I know all about the struggle. And this young lady, she only had one child, and I have 3 children. And I can't imagine you other single mothers out there who have, more than 3. Those of you even right now who, you may have some young children, and you're trying to figure out, you're living paycheck to paycheck. If you even have a paycheck coming in, and you're trying to figure out how you're going to feed your children. And then for those of you who just found out that you were pregnant, and you're like, oh my gosh, like, what do you mean? What am I going to do? I'm already struggling with this one child. Here I am, I'm pregnant again, and now I'm contemplating on, I don't know what to do, whether to keep my child, or to, to not have my child. Just all these decisions that single mothers have to make because we're afraid. We don't know, how we're going to overcome. Some of you may not have your children's fathers in your lives. That was me with my oldest daughter, you know? And even being married at some point, and just not knowing how you're going to be able to provide for your children. And that is something that, I know there are men who, you're the head of the household, you're the provider. And if you lose your job, you're like, what am I going to do? And sometimes we make these irrational decisions because we don't know what to do, and we're just trying to get out of these struggling situations. But I'm here to tell you today that God gives us the power to endure every situation that we encounter. God is always with us. He never leaves us, nor does he forsake us. And even in those times of anguish, even in those times where we're angry, even in those times when we're upset and we don't know what to do. Some women, you go out there and you go and sell your body. You go and have sex for money because you're trying to provide for your family. You don't know what else to do. You may not be able to get that job. You may have done something else that you have a bad record, and you don't know what you're going to do. And you're just trying to think of something that you can do right away so that you can go even get something from McDonald's, or you can go to the grocery store because you just need some milk. And if you can get some cereal for that child, and so that you all can eat some bread so that you can make a sandwich, whether it's a butter sandwich, a Miracle Whip sandwich, or, a peanut butter sandwich, something that you can do to provide for your children as a single mother. It is tough, and it can be so hard. And it can be tough and hard even if you have support, because you are still the one who has to take care of those children. You're still the one who has to provide for them. You're still the one who has to figure out what to do. But what I'm here to tell you today is, don't give up. Don't let go. It seems like it's the worst situation that you can be in currently at the moment. But just know that if you can press through, if you can just hold on, you will definitely reach the other side. Trust me, I know. I have overcome, I've overcome, I've overcome, and I've overcome. And I am an overcomer by the words of my mouth and the blood of the lamb and the words of my testimony. And you are too. You are a testimony. God just wants to use you. We're allowed to be in these situations so that God can get the glory out of our lives. And even though it doesn't feel good, he never leaves you, nor will he forsake you. There's a time where there has to be a pressing. There's a time where there has to be a stretching. There's a time where you just have to fall on your knees and pray and cry out to God and say, help me, Lord. Help me, Lord, because I cannot do this on my own. I don't know what else to do, Lord. I don't like being in this situation, Lord. I can't think myself out of this situation. Help me, Lord. But to kill yourself, to kill your children, or whatever it is, don't do it. That is not the answer. Because when you leave here, you still have to answer to God. You still have to go before Him. There's still judgment that will come. Trust me, there is judgment that will come. God is not going to allow you to be in a situation that He is not going to bring you out of. Trust me, I know. It was so sad to read that article, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I don't live in the UK. I live in the United States of America. But if I would have been able to just to speak to her somehow, some way, to share of my own testimony, to share of my own struggles, and if someone else would have been listening, maybe there would have been an opportunity to be able to save those two souls, to save those two lives from despair and destruction. So I'm just sharing with you on today that I am an overcomer. I am here to help. If you need to talk, if you need whatever it is that you need, let me know. Let's get through this together. I have overcome and am still overcoming some things, in my life. But just know that you do not have to do this alone. There are people who are standing by who want to help. We want to share our testimonies of how we've come through, how we've broken through, and so that you can see us on the other side of the struggle, because God always gives us the power to endure. And the scripture that I want to read really, really quickly, and I did post it in the description, but I'm going to go ahead and read it now. And it's from First Peter 5 and 7. And from the Amplified, it says, casting all your cares, all your anxieties, all your worries, all your concerns, once and for all on Him, on God, on Jesus. For He cares about you with deepest affection and watches over you very carefully, even when you don't think that He is. He's always watching. And He has a special place in Him for us single mothers. Trust me, He does, because you are His daughter and your children are His children. So I just wanted to share that on today. Please know that I love you. If you need any assistance, if you need to talk, please reach out to me, 248 8307. You can text me, you can call me, leave a message. If you don't get through, call back, but text me, okay? Text me, and I will reach out to you. So have a wonderful evening. I love you, and may God continue to richly bless you. And until next week, I look forward to seeing you all again. Have a wonderful day.